Hey, what's up, fam? This is Kentriarch. If you're new here, welcome to the family. And if you're returning, thanks for being a part of it. Well, it is Friday once again, so that is another Triple F video. This week, I figured I would review the submachine gun Huckleberry, seeing as it was the rewards for Prime Gaming. You got the Huckleberry Exotic plus the Devil's Work Exotic Weapon Ornament. Before we get started, please help me out by giving those like and subscribe buttons a little tickle, as well as following me on my other social media. Those links are in the description down below. And don't forget to leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on the Huckleberry and then what you guys would like to see next Friday. I would much rather review something that you guys would personally like to see than just picking it for myself. All right, let's get to it. Huckleberry is a submachine gun that fires 750 rounds per minute, 30 rounds in the magazine, and the best way to describe this weapon, as the cool kids would say it these days, is that it is absolutely slept on. So let's run through the perks on this weapon so that way we can see what it does and why it's actually pretty lit. Am I cool yet? All right. The intrinsic trait on this exotic is Ride the Bull. Increased rate of fire and recoil while you're holding on the trigger. Kills with this weapon reload a portion of the magazine. In the first weapon perk slot, we have Fluted Barrel. Ultralight barrel greatly increases handling speed, slightly increases stability. In the second column, we have Ricochet rounds. Rounds ricochet off hard surfaces. It also increases stability and slightly increases range. Next up, we have Rampage, a fan favorite. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage, stacks 3 times. In the final column, we have Short Action Stock. This weapon is especially easy to grip, greatly increases handling speed. And then to make this weapon's intrinsic trait even better, we have the Catalyst. Kills with this weapon now reload the entire magazine. In summary, we have a submachine gun that has an increased rate of fire, and you literally don't have to reload as long as you are killing enemies. And on top of not having to reload, if you're killing enemies, you are also dealing increased damage. What were the words I said before? Oh yeah, slept on. I've always really enjoyed the perk Subsistence, and this weapon is like that weapon perk on crack. So how does this exotic fare in PvE? Well, as you can see from the gameplay video here, it is a ton of fun to just sit there and shred through mobs and mobs and mobs of enemies. I'll be honest that I kind of got lost in just shredding through enemies while doing the Altars of Sorrow. Lower level content, fantastic. Where this weapon is going to struggle a little bit is when you start doing the higher end content. You're not going to get those kills constantly that you need to refill that magazine, as well as to get that rampage going. Now, even though it's not going to be kind of the best choice or the favorite choice for higher end content, I'm still going to put this in the A to the S tier. It is a fantastic weapon, and it does a really good job at what it does. It's just not going to be your go-to if you're doing something like Grandmaster Nightfalls or, Lost Sectors. Now, how does Huckleberry fare as far as PvP goes? Now, going into this review, I fully expected to say amazing in PvE and absolutely not in PvP, especially where submachine guns are at as far as its current meta. Now, it's not fair to compare this weapon going against things like Felwinter's Lie or Igneous Hammer or Bottom Dollar. It's not going to compete with those weapons. Those are top of the meta, and those are going to be fan favorites for a reason. But if you were to compare this to other SMGs, I would say it's definitely above the other SMGs. I have used a couple in PvP and I like to rock them every once in a while. This SMG actually does pretty darn good. It has semi-decent range, and it also has a pretty decent TTK, especially if you can get that rampage going. Overall, as far as PvP, I'm gonna have to place it in the lower B tier, and that is just due to this current sandbox, which is always changing, so you could see this pop back up. But as far as SMG goes, top of my list. If you have some bounties that have to get done or a certain quest that involves SMGs, I would really suggest trying this one out. In conclusion, as far as PvE, S tier all the way in some of your lower level content. Maybe not as great in the higher tier, but still a ton of fun and does a fantastic job. In regards to PvP, B tier. If you love submachine guns, I highly suggest trying this one out. It is at the top of my list for that archetype. But as far as the current meta goes, it's still going to struggle compared to some other weapons, and that is why it gets the rating it does. And with that, I will conclude this week's Triple F video. If you like the content, please help me out by giving those like and subscribe buttons a little tickle, as well as following me on my other social media. Links are in the description. It is my Instagram and my Twitter. I would really appreciate a follow. And don't forget to leave a comment down below with your suggestion for next week's video. Until next time, take care, fam.